Feliz Año Nuevo. Almost. Welcome in. It is a Taco Tuesday live from Social Taco and Home with the final time of 2025. We'll break tacos with many of our great friends, including the mayor, Don, Pat Smith. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic, Landrum. It's another Chamber of Commerce day. It's, not even 30 yet, maybe?
No, it's not 30. Maybe 32. Let me check the local real quick. Yeah, 32 degrees.
It's 32.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a warm 32.
But it feels good in here.
With a wind gust up to 20 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. We are live at Social Taco. Be here until 2 o'clock. And, we were having a show text string last night, and I kept audibleizing at the line of scrimmage, and everybody started making fun of me because we just kept adding.
Yeah.
You know how the quarterbacks get to the line, and then they say, can it. You know, if you want to change something at the line of scrimmage. We kept canning it last night.
We did.
There were so many changes.
It was like a line change in hockey.
Yes, pretty much. So get ready, folks, because we have got, when I say a jam-packed show.
It looks like a roster of a, let's just say, middle school cheer team. You got like 80 people on there.
It's going to be busy. So we will have plenty to talk about, including what's going on with Cam Coleman. Nathan King is going to join the show at the bottom of the hour. He'll give us the very latest on what's going on with the transfer portal and the Auburn Tigers. Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. Because we're off tomorrow and Thursday, we're kind of shoehorning some guests in that typically you would have on a Wednesday or a Thursday. They're going to be on today. So you got Rodney at 11, Brian Edwards give us the CFP Vegas side of things at 11:30. Trey Wallace from Outkick at noon. The Southern Gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, WHBQ Radio. He's already in New Orleans getting ready for the Georgia-Ole Miss game. He'll join us at 12:30. Dimitri Ravanos at 1 o'clock. And at 1:30, he landed last night at LAX. He texted me once he was on the ground. Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He'll be on the program at 1:30, brought to you by Craneworks. So we have got you covered.
Is that it?
Well,
let
me see.
Let's see if we can add some more.
I've got my phone here. Is there anybody in particular that you would care to?
No, I think we're good today, Pat.
Conrad, you need anybody else, or is that good? Are we fine with what we got?
I think that'll cover us for today.
Okay. Just making sure. I don't have an Indiana connection.
Did
here.
you throw in Better to Forget It?
No, see, I didn't. I'm glad you mentioned that. So that's 11:15 today. The first and last place is only separated by 2 games.
Who's in last?
Guys. That'd be Molly.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Wasn't me.
I have not received her picks yet. I do not know if
forgetting them all.
I mean, she is
Do
aware.
we
It's a bold
count
strategy
that?
late in the season, Landrum,
Wait a minute,
isn't it?
Conrad. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, you do need to come up with an idea of.
We need to
we're
come
gonna
up
do
with
here.
something, because if she doesn't send in picks by the time that we do it, then is that her forgetting all 5 games, or would that be her forfeiting all 5 games?
That's a good question. See, I'll just say this. I know it would be harsh.
We got prize money on the line.
But my gut is telling me that that's an 0 for 5.
Oh, so you're talking
that's
about
what it tells me.
getting a forfeit.
That's what it tells me, because she did respond. We know that she got the text.
Yeah, she acknowledged that
She
got
responded.
my text.
So if she doesn't respond and she's having, too much fun, then we'll have fun with her going 0-5 at a very, very crucial time in the season.
No, it's very crucial right now, because I'm sitting here looking at the standings, and Landrum has a 1-game lead over Conrad and a 2-game lead over Molly.
Yeah.
And so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, because we've got 5 games that we'll go over today at 11:15, and then we probably will have maybe one more addition.
I hope he's taking Indiana.
Conrad?
Mm-hmm.
Based on the show this morning, it sounds like he likes Indiana.
Oh, does he?
For the first time all season, Landrum, I picked somebody other than Alabama to win the
he
football
picked
game.
Indiana this morning on the morning show.
Okay.
So don't know if he'll do that at 11:15 today.
I was decongesting at that time in the morning.
Oh, you were using your Navage
I'm using whatever I can.
or the coat hanger.
I popped some steroids last night, which is not always conducive before going to bed, and then following that up with a heavy dose of melatonin. So.
You know, it's fun, Conrad, when I'm getting late night texts from Landrum talking about how great his bed feels.
So did you watch the Polar Express, and did you too hear Sacha Baron Cohen as the conductor like I did when I was on NyQuil?
No, but there is a setting on the bed that's zero gravity.
Jeepers.
And I love it. It's nice. It's really nice.
That and some melatonin sounds like a good time.
If you only knew what we were sleeping on, then you would appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because I say it's the equivalent. After going to the store the other day, trying out the different beds, and then going home, we were sleeping on the equivalent of a bunch of bags of trash. That's what it feels like. That's what it sounds like on the old mattress.
That is amazing. So we'll get a lot to get into. Obviously, we're going to start off talking about the transfer portal. You've got Media Day going on in Pasadena, California right now as Indiana, Kurt Signetti. Those guys are meeting with the media as we speak. Then you'll have Kalen DeBoer and members of the Alabama football team in attendance. So everything's getting underway out west. Still, the weather forecast looks bad. Matter of fact, it looks like instead of some light rain, now they're talking about the potential of some thunderstorms in Southern California. So this is some crazy stuff because, as we mentioned yesterday, it's been since 1955 since the Rose Bowl has had significant rain during the game. It just does not happen at the 1st of January in Southern California.
How significant? Because I remember in Tallahassee we had wet conditions there. But how many games, number one, did Alabama have to navigate through the rain this season? I have no idea on Indiana. I'm just wondering. Because typically wind is going to affect you more than it is a wet football, unless it's just a downpour.
Well, you know, it was damp conditions for Indiana and Oregon.
Yeah.
But, of course, that wasn't like a driving rainstorm.
Yeah, that's just like that annoying northwest precipitation.
Yeah. So that will be one of the side stories. So we will cover that a lot with Rodney, or also we'll talk to Chris Stewart, who is there in Southern California getting ready to call the game. But let's start with what's going on. Oh, yeah, and I've already gotten text messages. There is no Mike Griffith today, and the reason why Mike and I were going back and forth the last couple of days, because of the Sugar Bowl media schedule and everything that was going on, we just could not make something work. So no Mike Griffith today, so we'll try to catch up with Mike.
That's who I wanted to add. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why.
So sorry for the Mike Griffith Tuesday fans. We just could not make that work. The holidays.
But look at these other guys we're getting on Tuesday, as opposed to the day that they're regularly scheduled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one Mike Griffith, material. But there's also only one Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah, or Trey Wallace.
Or Trey Wallace.
Or Brian Edwards.
Or Rodney, or Nathan King, Dimitri, or Chris.
So
all right.
The line goes on and on. All right, let's start with Cam Coleman. That was a big story we covered yesterday, that all indications are that when the transfer portal officially opens on Friday, he will submit his name to the transfer portal. Coleman was the highest-rated offensive signee in program history. He was even higher than Bo Nix. You know, Bo Nix was the highest quarterback that had ever been signed at Auburn. Cam Coleman was the highest-rated offensive signee in program history. Obviously, that was a crowning achievement for the Hugh Freeze administration there at Auburn. He has totaled over 1,300 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns. I was checking in with a couple people last night, and they told me that he was making around $1.8 million last season, and Auburn was prepared to increase his deal by at least $500,000. So it's not like Auburn was trying to go cheap,
right,
or try to say, hey, we don't want you a part of this football team. And he still may stay home, and he still might be an Auburn Tiger. But all indications are that Texas A&M and LSU are two programs to keep your eye on, because they are salivating trying to get him there on their campus. And keep in mind that Cam Coleman, when he ended up signing at Auburn, that it was between Texas A&M and Auburn.
Yeah.
When it was all said and done. I know that a lot of Alabama people were getting excited yesterday because Ryan Williams and a ton of other Alabama football players had liked the tweet that had gone out yesterday reporting that he was heading into the transfer portal. Will Alabama be involved in potentially Cam Coleman if he's in the portal? We'll ask Rodney Orr that question coming up at 11. But here's the thing about these recruiting classes now in the transfer portal. If you go back to the 2024 Auburn recruiting class, which was a top 10 recruiting class, remember? That's what Hugh Freeze was living off of. of the top 12 signees in that class, 9 have either left or announced their plans to leave Auburn. 9 of the 12. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, the 2026 class, they moved up to 34th with a couple of additions, but they still rank 14th out of 16 SEC schools in the 2026 class. And this would be the Auburn's worst class in 25 years.
Yeah.
Based on the rivals and the 247 composite.
Yeah, and it's like you said to begin, you have to keep in mind this is a new era when we start spanning generations and we start comparing to 25 years ago. But it's tough. Programs will deal with it, some more than others. But for Cam Coleman, we talked about it extensively yesterday, Pat. If I'm Cam Coleman, I'm doing what that young man is doing right now. And I'm evaluating. And if I can get a $3.5, $4 million deal from an LSU, a Texas A&M, heck, an Ohio State to play one more year, because that's all he's got left, one more year of college football, I can't blame him. And Auburn, would you love to have him? Absolutely. Every roster in this country would love to have Cam Coleman, but you got other needs. You got to be big spenders possibly on the offensive line. You got to go and try to find 2 elite-level corners, and then all of the other pieces that you're going to need in Alex Golesh in that system. So some of these guys were going to leave regardless. I don't care what, if John Cohen went around, and that was always kind of silly to me, not for John Cohen doing it, but if you're gauging and trying to get player sentiment during the season on a potential coaching change and this potential coaching hire or that one, those guys in the season, they're obviously going to tell you probably, yeah, I'm going to be here. Who wants to go ahead and let it be known 3 weeks to go in the season, yeah, there's a good chance I'm going to just go to the highest bidder when it's all said and done? Nobody's going to say that. But I don't blame Cam Coleman for doing this. Interesting to see Nathan's perspective when he joins us at 10:30.
And I want to go back to something that I said yesterday, and I mean this. And I haven't heard anybody, whether it's Nathan King or the folks at auburnsports.com, some of their podcasts. I mean, no one's taking shots at Cam Coleman because everyone understands in this new world of free agency in college football, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to Alabama. Whenever Alabama's season ends, they're going to have some tough decisions to make on some players because no one's got a $100 million budget on a football roster. You're going to be dealing anywhere between $25 and $30 million, and you got to make some tough decisions in regards to what you're going to do with your roster. But of the total of 27 players that have announced plans to enter the transfer portal, including 9 that were projected starters for Auburn next year, that's the part that if you start looking at this football team, and listen, Alex Golesh has got a plan. And so it might not be apparent what that plan is to Auburn fans, and it might be frustrating over the next couple of days because there could potentially be another big name or so that might end up in the transfer portal. But Auburn's going to have plenty of money to spend. And obviously Alex Golesh has a plan on what he wants to do and how he wants to fulfill that roster, and we'll see what happens starting on Friday.
And it's hard to do it now because of the way that we've been programmed as fans growing up. But now you do have to look at it as a year-by-year basis. It's a season-by-season basis. It's not the end of the world. It's you go and you get an elite player or a bunch of elite players out of the transfer portal. It doesn't mean instant success, doesn't mean a national championship.
Because that's because you and I were being reminded the entire time that you and I and Conrad were in Atlanta that LSU had spent all that money, brought all those transfers
cherry-picked all those elite guys.
These mercenaries that are going to come in, and they're going to – and by the way, none of the three of us voted LSU to finish in the top 3 in the SEC, and look what happened.
Well, and that's an indictment, I think, sometimes, and there's all kinds of factors that go in for a team's overall record, but that's an indictment of coaching staff. I don't think I'll say this. Auburn didn't need Cam Coleman this year to go 8-4.
No.
They won't need him next year to go 8-4. That's kind of where we are. Now, would Cam Coleman certainly help your chances? Yeah, probably, but we don't know the system. I mean, I've seen Alex Golesh's system up close and personal, but we don't know what these conversations are like. And as good as the culture, was quoted to be, maybe Golesh and that staff have gone in and said, this might not work for us.
Yeah.
Maybe you ought to weigh your options. I'm not saying specific to Cam Coleman because I've heard he's a great kid. and a great person, but some of these other guys.
Yeah. So we'll talk to Nathan King coming up at the bottom of the hour in regards to the Auburn situation with Cam Coleman. What's the future of Deuce Knight look like? There's a lot of rumors about him out there. And it's all going to be negative up until Friday because right now that's all you get is negative news. I mean, you're not having
the world is the sky's falling.
Yeah. I mean, okay, there's 27 guys in the portal for Auburn, and it looks really bad right now, but it's not a reciprocal type of situation. It's a revolving door that's only going in regards to guys going into the portal. Now Auburn gets to spend money, and Auburn gets to add to their roster after Friday. So then this whole cycle will start breaking a little bit. So yeah, you got a couple days of negative news cycles, but
there are other
on
elite
Friday,
guys that are out there that feel like they're being underpaid or need a change of scenery, or their desire is to play in the SEC.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure, I had to turn on all my heaters in my house. And, Conrad, it's very important that everyone takes care of those air conditioning and heating units.
Tell them, Conrad.
That's right. There's somebody that can help you out right now, Pat, and that's our friends at Train. Because flu season is here, and they want to make your home healthier and warmer. With Train's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner, it removes up to 99.9% of those airborne particles, including those that cause virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than those HEPA room filters as well. So go find a dealer near you online today at Train.com.
When we come back live at Social Taco, we will give you a little preview of Indiana, Alabama, as Media Days is going on right now out in Pasadena, California. What's the weather look like? Bottom of the hour, Nathan King. So much to get into. We're live at Social Taco on Jocks. It is 10:20 here live at Social Taco. Yeah.
If it was a taco, he'd be that
Dirty
one.
Crunchy.
Oh.
Is that new here at Social Taco?
The taco you've been waiting for, Pat. Crunchy shell with ground beef, shredded cheese, chopped lettuce, and house taco sauce on the side. We call it the Dirty Crunchy.
Dirty
Available
Crunchy.
now at Social Taco here in the square where we're going to be until 2 o'clock broadcasting live. Here, our final show of 2025. And then when we resume on Friday, that will be an interesting reaction Friday.
It will be. We'll be off tomorrow and Thursday, back in studio on Friday, so we'll have a good time there. We just had a little bit of breaking news here.
Yep.
During our last time out here at Social Taco. And there's been a little bit of debate going on between the Alabama fan base about Conrad going to certain games. He had a pretty good streak running this year at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and then he showed up in Atlanta at the SEC Championship game, and you saw what happened. So he made it a policy that he was not going to go to the college football playoff game at Oklahoma, and fans rejoiced.
Because the last time he went, they
lost.
lost 24 to, what was it, 3?
It was 3, Landrum.
Yeah. So our great listener, Mary, who, by the way, I'm wearing her baseball cap today.
Yeah, you
that
are.
she gave me for Christmas.
Yep.
Appreciate
I
that.
got a Braves one.
She just broke some news here at Social Taco. She's getting on a plane tomorrow morning, Conrad, flying to Pasadena, California, and she has got tickets on the 35-yard line on the Alabama side. Now, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't she have some kind of weird streak like you do in regards to Alabama losing when she goes to the games?
Yeah, and hers extends further back than mine, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, she was basically bringing up the point that essentially every big game that Alabama's lost in the last, I don't know, handful of years, she's been in attendance for. So make of that what you will for Thursday.
Well, maybe we cancel it out because we rarely get rain during the Rose Bowl.
So the game's canceled because of rain?
I'm looking for any
Now,
angle I
if
can
there were forest fires, which that's happened in Southern California, or mudslides, the governor gets involved.
Yeah.
The governor
Yeah.
puts the halt on the game. I mean, is that like? Am I speaking out of turn by saying that?
No. No. There's all kinds of things that can happen out there. I just hope she gets there with the travel.
Yeah, she says she's flying out tomorrow morning.
Did she say what time I need to be at the terminal?
She said you were going to be mad at her. She acknowledged that.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us.
How much would it
If she had an extra ticket, would you go?
Oh, well, yeah.
Hey, Mary.
Do you have an extra ticket?
Do you have an extra ticket?
Pat is now.
You don't? He's not allowed to go anyway. Conrad said he would go.
All right. Well,
Oh, she said that's not a good idea.
Mary's reaction, my human lie detector, said that there might be an angle for you to have a ticket, but you're not going.
She also pointed out that it was probably not a very good idea that both of you guys would be at the game together.
No, at that point, and then if you were on the same flight, you worry about the other passengers.
Yes. It's just
fair.
bad.
We
bad
got a lot
luck.
of families here.
Yeah, that's a lot of bad luck there.
Have you ever driven out to California?
No, only flew.
But you would, wouldn't you?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
What if I got us a driver?
Maybe.
Like one of those nice Sprinter vans?
Sure.
Okay.
But no,
That was the one to do the Route 66 thing.
See, that was back in the day when Alabama and Auburn played in the Rose Bowl for the national championship, and going out to Glendale, covering Auburn and Oregon, and of course Alabama playing Clemson out there. Felt bad for the satellite truck drivers at the TV stations.
Yeah.
Because they had to drive, and that was back in the day before they started consolidating and using sat trucks in the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally would be driving from Birmingham. So the Birmingham local television affiliates, they would send their trucks out way in advance.
That's like our equipment guy with UAB.
Mm-hmm. Get in that semi and drive.
Just drive. A lot of lonely hours out on the road. Oh, my goodness.
Well,
What
think
has
about
just
the
walked in?
Oregon equipment driver for this little trek they're having to make this week. Whew.
Yeah.
From Eugene to Miami, that's a haul.
Yeah, I remember when Paul and I, back in about 10 years ago, when Paul was doing game day and I was traveling with him, and I didn't realize this till I got behind the scenes at game day, but they would have the game day buses. I'm not talking about the equipment vehicles. I'm talking about the buses.
All local?
No, that they would have a couple around the country, and then depending on where they would go, that would be the one that would end up in
I
whatever
got you.
locale. Like
So they get them wrapped prior to the start of the season, and then
yeah. Now the main guy, he was from North Georgia, and so he would drive it to his house. He had a big spread, kind of a ranch type deal, and he would park it
Can you imagine
behind
just,
his house.
You get lost in Georgia going down a road, and all of a sudden you see the
there's
college game day van.
Yeah. So nice dude, very nice guy. All the things behind that you just don't think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean these equipment guys and the satellite truck folks having to make their ways, and like I said, it's consolidated, so now you can hook up satellites and do this and that. Or local affiliates would help you out.
The wife's got family, some that still lives in Bloomington, but big IU people, and they have been out there for the last couple of days. So, and I think the IU contingent, according to them, as you would expect.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But having good fans like Mary, who just
That's
told
right.
us that she got a ticket and she's flying out there, I think there'll be a lot of Alabama people. I think the Alabama contingency is feeling a lot better about their chances today than they did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. What's the difference what's the difference? Can we do that on the color swatch? What's the difference in the Pantone Crimson and what Indiana wears? Their shade of red.
I'll get.
Is it cardinal red or crimson?
Yeah, I'll get the official colors here in a moment. When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll go down to Auburn. We'll talk to Nathan King, get the very latest on the situation with Cam Coleman and the transfer portal. That's all straight ahead right here on Jocks. It is 10:31 live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. The doors officially open up at 11, but as always, Landrum here on the Taco Terrace. We've already got a good selection of our listeners already made their way up here, getting their seat early.
We got Mary. We have our nephew Nathan, who's joining us, who knows you back from back in the day. Stan the Godfather. You got Don with his Miami hat on. I guess that's the team that he has clung to for the college football playoff. And our buddy Howie is wearing a interesting onesie that looks
he's dressed up like he's got his Ohio State
and then
stuff
there's
on.
the reveal. He's got the Ohio State shirt on. So if you would like to wear your favorite team or a random team's gear and join us here at Social Taco, this is the day to do it. socialtaco.bar for more information.
He covers the Auburn Tigers as well as anybody, and the great people at Auburn Undercover do as well. Nathan King joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. And, Nathan, how surprised were you at all yesterday that the news started leaking out that Cam Coleman might be looking at the transfer portal come Friday?
Yeah, I mean, not overly surprising. That's not to say Auburn wasn't aggressive trying to keep him. He was certainly one of the top priorities on this roster, if not numero uno, in terms of guys that Alex Golesh wants for next season. I mean, who wouldn't want a Cam Coleman in their offense? I mean, he looks like an NFL receiver from the first day he stepped foot on campus. But, you know, when that news happened, and I kind of thought back to, a month ago, 2 months ago, and I'm sure you guys were having similar conversations of thinking Cam Coleman wasn't going to be here. That was just kind of when things are going downhill for your offense and for your program, keeping the ultra five-star, highest-rated, whatever, all the accolades you can give a recruit like Cam Coleman, it's going to be really difficult. And so it was a very painful loss. There's really no way to spin it, because he was the guy you plaster his face on the side of the stadium, and he's your quote-unquote franchise player because he is so exciting as a wide receiver. But at the same time, you can only do so much. Alex Golesh, I don't think they got outbid. They did everything they could, and if Cam Coleman just wants to go play for a more winning program, name one of your 7 or 8 best programs in the country, it wouldn't be surprising if he goes and does that, and you honestly can't really blame him. Auburn's had 5 straight losing seasons, and once again, they're pitching a rebuild. They don't really have much to go off of, and all Alex Golesh can say is, hey, man, it's going to be better, I promise. But obviously Cam Coleman's heard that before, and now is deciding to take his talents elsewhere.
So to be clear, and just taking away, Nathan, what you just said, this was not a case of Auburn getting outbid. Because I was going to ask, the follow-up was going to be, was there a counter offer? Is there still room for negotiation? But it sounds like from your comments that Cam Coleman just kind of wants something different for his final year of college football.
So here's everything I gather. So day one, Alex Golesh is here. That's Sunday. He met with Cam Coleman's parents right away in the building. Continued to make him a top priority. Look, those conversations are pretty simple. Hey, man, we want you here. We want you here really, really badly. We're going to pay you a lot of money. Go home for the Christmas break and think about it and talk with your family about it. Right before Christmas break, I was told he had a meeting in the building Golesh did with Cam Coleman's entire family. So everyone who lives there in Phoenix City brought them all to campus and said, hey, here's our plans. Again, here's our offer. Go home for the break and enjoy time together and let us know what you think. At that moment, people in Auburn's building felt really good about Cam Coleman. They felt really good about him returning. I think Cam Coleman came back during the break with some extra negotiations, maybe wanted to bump that offer up a little bit. Look, in terms of being outbid, there is a line, right? Like, do I think Auburn offered Cam Coleman $4 million? No, I don't. But you could easily. I mean, you hear anything from the $2 to $2.5 million range. I mean, that's what you're paying some of the top transfer quarterbacks in the country, and that's what Auburn will pay a top transfer quarterback to come here. And so, no, I mean, look, if somebody like an Ohio State or a Georgia or a Texas, just throwing out the power programs that can go swing for a guy like that, if one of them is communicating with you to have a comparable offer, it makes sense, man. I mean, Cam Coleman wanted to be here. He decided to flip from Texas A&M. He's a guy from right down the road. Obviously, this was the place he made the decision to come to. But again, it's difficult when you have to rebuild once again to retain your best offensive player. and he was one of the guys who was up there. It's Xavier Atkins, Cam Coleman, and Deuce Knight are the ones that Golish said really, really want to have those guys. So now we've got 2 out of those 3 decisions done. Now we look to Deuce Knight. And once he gets his decision in, things get a little bit more streamlined in terms of the payroll on this roster.
Okay, so in regards to the payroll, I was watching your podcast last night with Christian Clemente, and you guys did a great job laying everything out. Do we have a ballpark what we're looking at in regards to what Auburn potentially is going to spend on this upcoming year's roster? Are we talking about 25? Or are we going to 30 million? What's the happy spot, in your opinion, Nathan, for Auburn?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to some people around the program a few weeks ago and reported that their goal is to get close to 30 million. And I know we've hit on this a bunch of times, but basically how you do that, get over the salary cap, is you get as many third-party NIL deals as possible. Those don't count against your cap, and they actually offset what you are owing a player, because the player can be owed. Let's say you sign a contract, you're Cam Coleman, you sign a contract for $2 million. That can come from anywhere. It can come from revenue sharing, or it can come from an NIL deal. So essentially, the more NIL deals you get, the better, because that's less that you're owing in the salary cap. $25 million, I think, is the really comfortable spot for them right now, but they are going to push for $30 million, and that's going to be, continued NIL deals, trying to be aggressive on that front, just continue to try to push that cap up. When you lose guys like Cam Coleman, you free that up, and I talked about it on the show last night, like you mentioned. If you end up getting a quarterback like a Byron Brown, you tell him, hey, man, we got an extra $2 million free because we didn't get Cam Coleman. Who do you want? Well, tell me the receivers you want in the portal. We're going to go offer him a bunch of money. I mean, that's just where you're at right now. I think people need to understand. And, look, it's really difficult and it's painful to lose players. But you look across the country right now with the way this portal window works, all you can do right now is lose. The portal's not open. All that can happen is players can say, I am leaving. I mean, you can retain guys, sure, like Atkins. You can announce those. But you cannot gain any players from any other program. Auburn had to think about that. Auburn has to think about how many guys they're going to need. These scholarship numbers are dwindling. I would not be surprised if they add 40 players in the transfer portal. I mean, it was not a big signing class for them in 2026. You cannot just throw away all of your money. Otherwise, you're not going to get any offensive linemen. They're replacing every single starter on the offensive line. They're replacing almost every single wide receiver. They're replacing almost every single defensive tackle. They're going to throw a lot of money at a lot of different players in the transfer portal. I think they feel really, really good about the type of guys that they can land and about the type of offers that they could make at a bunch of different positions. And obviously it starts at quarterback. Byron Brown or whomever they're able to get at quarterback would obviously solve a lot of things and make you feel a lot better about where your offense is.
Nathan King, Auburn Undercover, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline here on 3-Man Front Live from Social Taco. I want to go back to the quarterback. If Byron Brown comes in, you said 2 of the 3 decisions, big decisions, have been made. Still waiting on Deuce Knight to confirm if he is recommitted to coming back to Auburn. Where do things stand with Deuce, and could you see the potential of him finding new beginnings for the 2026 season?
I could. I mean, if I were to make a prediction right now, that's where I'd say. I'd say he's not back at Auburn, but you never know. I mean, you never know. They're continuing those conversations, and look, the pitch to him is very clear. The pitch to Deuce Knight is very, very clear. Hey, man, we're going to make you one of the highest-paid backup quarterbacks in the country. Now, you're going to have every opportunity to earn the starting job, of course, but it's those honest conversations of like, hey, man, I've got to get this offense off the ground. I love your potential, but if I can bring my guy in, I've got to do that. And Deuce Knight understands that. Deuce Knight's a guy with 4 years of eligibility remaining. So Auburn's plan is, hey, get him really comfortable. Let him work as a backup in the offense next year. And then you've got 3 years of eligibility with a former 5-star quarterback. Obviously, what head coach in the country wouldn't want that? And so obviously, we're waiting for that domino to fall. I think Auburn has made him a very attractive offer. If he chooses to go elsewhere, it's a situation where maybe he wants to be more capable of starting right away. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to a power program that has a bigger quarterback opening. And obviously, this is assuming a lot of things. This is assuming Auburn gets Byron Brown, which there's no guarantees in anything. It just makes so much sense that a guy like that would reconnect with his former head coach. But that opens things up again. If Deuce Knight decides to leave, again, it's painful. It's a guy you thought you would have for the long run, but at the same time, that's more money you have to work with. And at the end of the day, guys, it's just more and more clarity. This whole roster situation is so up in the air at so many different positions. And if Deuce Knight is out, and Cam Coleman's out, then Alex Golesh can put his hands together and say, hey, look, this is almost a full rebuild on offense. Now we know that. Let's go be gangbusters in the portal and see what kind of team we can put together.
Nathan King joins us for a couple more minutes from Auburn Undercover. You can follow his work there at auburnundercover.com. Okay, so Friday the portal officially opens. Players will be officially filing paperwork to be in that portal. How quickly do you anticipate that Auburn will get guys out of the portal, signing guys to new deals to be part of this 2026 team? Do you think it's going to be relatively quick on a couple of guys, or do you think it's going to kind of permeate for a couple of days before that happens?
I think you'll have a couple days of kind of a grace period once things get rolling. Really, all it is nowadays, and you guys know this. I mean, the word tampering. I mean, this doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah,
no, that's out the window. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Oklahoma State offensive tackle who's visiting Auburn. I mean, dude's not in the portal yet, and he's saying, "Hey guys," it's like, okay, well, all right, I guess that's how that works. I mean, look, you have agents who can communicate, and that's the whole point of that thing. But make no mistake, Alex Golesh and his staff in that building right now have a transfer board that's getting set up. And that's the point of a lot of these social media announcements, is so that players can say publicly to other coaching staffs, hey, without saying it, right, but putting it on social media, hey, I'm going to be available. You can build out your transfer board. Hey, let's get in contact with this guy. Really, all it does when the portal opens, it just makes things easier. It just makes things way more streamlined. You can grab a player right away. You can talk to him right away. You can communicate directly. It just makes things so much simpler. And so, I mean, I would give it a couple days. Look, they're going to try to have guys on campus on day one. They're going to be juggling transfer visits with transfer communication, with maybe more players entering the portal, with trying to land guys. I mean, it is going to be an absolute whirlwind of a 15-day period. But I would expect by the time it's all said and done, obviously you want to get as many players as possible in the pre-spring portal, because after the spring, it's just not as it's not as advantageous to not have a guy around for spring practice. If they are getting 40 players total, I would expect they want 30 of them for spring practice. And school starts back at Auburn on January 13th. So I honestly don't know what to expect. This is going to be an absolute madhouse of a 2-week period, trying to get as many guys as possible. And for a program like Auburn, for a program like Florida, I saw Iowa State only has 33 scholarship players. I mean,
Oh, wow.
it's just going to be madness for these teams to try to get their roster filled out. Like, I know that people want starting caliber players, but you need a backup offensive guard, man.
Yeah.
Like, you need a third string cornerback. Like, these guys, you got to go get as many of those guys as possible. And so I would expect maybe you give it about 48 hours after the portal officially opens, and you're going to start seeing commitments.
I am curious. Oh, I'm sorry.
They have to work quickly. No, you're saying they have to really quickly.
Nathan, I'm just curious, in almost a month, from what you've observed from Alex Golesh, the staff, his culture, maybe just different takeaways, maybe differences you've noticed in him leading the program versus Hugh Freeze.
Well, it's a really different approach, period, because of the way the salary cap is now. The salary cap being introduced on this roster, you got the notion from Alex Golesh, if you read between the lines of kind of the stuff he said in his first few, media outings, of sure you have those conversations with players, but it's kind of, and I won't put words in his mouth here, but kind of what he was getting at, because I don't remember his exact quotes, was you can only do so much to try to keep a guy. Like, you tell them what they can be, and you tell them what they're going to be, and you tell them what offer they're going to get, and then if they don't want to stay, like, see ya. And I think Hugh Freeze was in a situation, I spoke about a guy on our message board this morning, Kay and Lee. I mean, the starting quarterback, he's out after his junior season. This is the third straight offseason we heard he was leaving. He tried to leave after his freshman year, tried to leave after his sophomore year, and they gave him the pay bump necessary to keep him. I don't know if Alex Golesh is going to be as willing as a head coach to just do those negotiations as often. I think they will be very upfront with what they think of a player, and obviously they'll try to keep their priorities around. And so that's maybe the biggest difference, is that I hesitate to say Freeze is throwing around money, because that's just not, that's obviously, there's no nuance there. It's a lot more complex than that. They had a really good personnel department when he was the head coach here, but I do think he was willing to make these big contract promises to guys, even guys who were 2026 recruits, that Alex Golesh came in and said, I'm not sure we're willing to pay a 17-year-old who's a low four-star that much. I mean, it's just situations like that where Freeze was all about talent, all about numbers, chasing stars, which is not a bad thing. But Alex Golesh's roster, quote-unquote, is not going to be as talented. It's not going to have as many five-star recruits. But you've got to hope that you brought in a coach who's actually competent offensively, and he can maybe offset some of those things.
Well, I told Pat, Nathan, that, if you want to say Cam Coleman, that Auburn football team this past year didn't have to have Cam Coleman to go 8-4.
No, they didn't. And that's the devil's advocate you'll play here. And I don't want to. I'm not like being condescending to Auburn people, but it's like, well, without Cam Coleman, Auburn might have a losing season and have a bad offense now. And it's like, oh wait, you've been doing that for years and years and years with guys like this. And so I know it's painful, but look, to be honest, offensively, it really can't get worse, which is maybe the saving grace for this program right now.
That is Nathan King. And, Nathan, I pointed to it multiple times. Your article you wrote about a week and a half ago in regards to laying out the transfer portal, the budget, the payroll, what it looks like. I strongly recommend if anybody wants to kind of get a deep dive on the numbers, especially with the Auburn football program and what to expect during this very busy time of the transfer portal, you need to go read what Nathan wrote about a week and a half ago. It was outstanding. It's a must-read in regards to not only Auburn, but just how this works now and how the fans need to educate themselves on the line of thinking as you go into the transfer portal and this roster management. Listen, Happy New Year, Nathan. I know you guys are going to stay really busy. Just keep Ronnie Sanders off your back, okay? If you need any help, just let me know, and I'll make sure Ronnie.
Lots of energy drinks and coffee, Nathan.
I will. I've got the coffee all ready to go. With the Ronnie situation, I might take you up on that because you never know. You never know at what time of day you'll be getting text messages.
Hey, just take one of Ronnie's dogs away from him, and you'll be fine. Because he's already offered like 3 of them to me in the last 2 weeks. So just if you can do that, that will alleviate some of the problems.
It's still pinned on our message board. So if anybody wants a dog in the Birmingham area, you can go get one.
What kind of dogs do you have?
It's kind of a Heinz 57.
Okay.
Yeah. They rescued it.
Yeah, good for them.
No, it's a beautiful dog. I mean, he offered it to me a couple weeks ago. And
but now he wants somebody to rescue it from him?
I think the other dogs hate him.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the deal. It's a great dog. No, he told me. He said his other dogs that he's had
How
forever.
How old's the dog?
I don't know.
All right, we'll talk on the break.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, Nathan, Happy New Year. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Nathan.
Happy New Year, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. That's Nathan King from Auburn Undercover. You joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
We continue live here from Social Taco. The doors officially opening 10 minutes from right now. We're next to City Hall in Homewood. Join us. It's a Taco Tuesday, but they got more than just tacos we'll tell you about. Three-man front continues on Jocks.
It's 10:53. We're live at Social Taco. Great interview with Nathan King. If you missed it, you need to go back and download it on the Three Man Front podcast. You know, when it comes to protecting your home or business, you need a roofing team that truly abides by quality, and that's Abide Roofing. Abide Roofing offers tailored roofing solutions for every need, your family home, your commercial building, whatever you got. They deliver custom work that fits your style and your situation. And the Abide crew, they're outstanding. They bring their A game every single day. I saw it firsthand when they replaced my entire roof. They came, they checked it out, they did the work. It was first class. Their work is built to last, and that was another reason I went with Abide. 25 years of trusted experience. They're insurance claim masters. They dealt with my insurance company when they were kind of giving me a hassle and a runaround. They took care of that for me. You also get warranties, and that's big time because that's going to give you the peace of mind if you're a homeowner, plus no-cost consultations and estimates. At Abide Roofing, customers always come first from your first call to the final inspection. If you're ready to get started, give them a call, 205-577-7338. Get that number again, 205-577-7338, or go to abideroof.com.
If you just missed our interview with Nathan King, I encourage you to go back and listen to it at JocksFM.com, the Three Man Front podcast, because I feel like he addressed everything. We asked him all the questions we feel like that Auburn fans want answered, and I feel like Nathan did a pretty good job of describing just the current state of things, not only at Auburn under Alex Golish, but also just college football. And we try to remind our listeners, and I know that most of our listeners know it, but we have to remind ourselves that it's a new day. And every year, you think about how long have we had the transfer portal on NIL? What has that been, 5 years now?
Yeah.
Every year it changes. No different this year. But the trend early on seems to be elite guys jumping in the portal and seeing how much they can make. Can't blame them.
It's all about that graphic, man, on social media.
That's it.
Rodney Orr joins us next. We'll get his thoughts on Pasadena. And also, could Alabama be in the market for Cam Coleman? We'll get all that straight ahead. Rodney Orr joins us next.